Hi, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to have you here with me today, and I'm excited to do this video. It's such a pretty day out. The sun's out and the birds are singing, and it's just so pretty. And this is my working around the house and yard outfit. This is why I'm sporting my hat today because it's kind of warm today and I'm sweaty. So I was like, oh, let me just throw a hat on and do the video. But here I am in my my very basic form of working around the house and yard. Thank you for joining me today. And I wanted to do this video because I just finished doing some videos about star seeds. And I wanted to move on to twin flames and the 144,000. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I wanted to move into that, and I felt like today was a great day to do that video. So here I am sharing this with you. So I'm going to share with you everything I know about it and information because it can be confusing. There's a lot of stuff floating around out there about twin flames, and it can be very confusing. So I definitely want to share what I know. I don't know. Hopefully, it'll help if you have any questions, but I definitely wanted to in part of my information that I've gathered over the years. So basically, there is a misconception about twin flames that it's this wonderful romantic relationship and it's full of rainbows and butterflies and it's wonderful and perfect, and that is definitely not true. Twin flame is a journey. It's not rainbows and butterflies. It's not easy. In fact, it's probably one of the hardest experiences anybody who is a twin flame will have to go through. And that's because there's a lot of work that goes into it that people don't realize or focus on. So we're going to talk about all that today. So what exactly are twin flames? Well, twin flames are basically two soul they have it's like two entities, okay, that share the same soul or parts of a soul, and they're split into two physical bodies. Now I know there's some people out there that say, oh, they don't share a soul, or and there's some that say they do. From everything I've read and experienced, it looks like they do either share a soul or parts of, and I'm not sure how the divine does that. How he splits them like that or how it works exactly. But we know there's definitely a very strong energetic connection between the two people. And it's all on an energetic level, by the way. It's not, it's all energy that's in chemistry that's pulling the two together because they, share that soul, right? So they have that beginning together before they were split. So when they're split, they often go into a masculine and feminine energy. And when they go into the different physical bodies. Now we're dealing with energy, so it doesn't have to be. It can be heterosexual couples, or it could be also same-sex couples because you're dealing with the energy and not the physical body. But one person in the couple is going to have probably strong masculine traits, and the other one's going to have strong feminine traits. And it could be, could be the man in the relationship has, just saying heterosexual as an example, they could have strong feminine instead of masculine, and the woman could have strong, masculine instead of feminine. So it just depends on every couple. Usually, it's the masculine is with the male, and the um feminine is the with the female. Usually that's how, usually how it works. But like I said, in a same sex couple, it could be, one person's dominant one and then the other. So basically, every one of us has masculine and feminine energy within us. And it's really important to try to balance that energy because if you have too much masculine energy, guiding your life or in your life, that's not good. And if you have too much feminine energy, that's not good either. So it's really want to balance between the two energies within yourself. But in the twin flame, you've got one person in the group, and the couple is probably stronger masculine. And usually the masculines are associated with action. It's very action oriented. It's associated with the sun. The feminines are associated with the moon, and they're usually more of on spiritual level, but the key is to be balanced. And that's very important about the whole twin flame journey. So, even though and I'm looking at my notes just to make sure I don't miss anything, because this is pretty deep concept. I want to make sure I get everything. So, however, that they have the same soul or part of a soul starting off, they have their own consciousness. So they're individual. So they're together energetically, but they each have their own mind, consciousness, energetic, subconscious. So joined together energetically, but yet they're still separate in a sense of being individual. Okay. So they can make their own decisions and they can, it's not kind of like they're basically controlling each other's thoughts or controlling each other behavior. That's not like that. You still have your individuality, even though you have that same soul. And, there's not as many twin flames, as there are star seeds. Like, there's millions of star seeds on the planet right now, not as many, twin flames, and part of that is because the twin flames are extremely powerful. So when the twin flames come together into union, in a physical union, it's an extremely powerful energy. So I feel like there's probably been twin flame couples that have come to Earth over the centuries, over, hundreds of years for various missions or reasons. But I feel like now that we're getting ready to jump into that new Earth 5D energy, I feel like there's a lot more twin flames on the planet right now than there have ever been probably before because they're getting ready to help the Earth make that jump. So, every twin flame basically has, couple has their own mission that they have to fulfill. A lot of times they have their own individual missions on the planet as well as a mission together as a couple, but also as a group, as a collective group of twin flames, they have a mission. And once again, it's to help, lift the vibration of the planet, help anchor in the 5D grids, the energetic grids, and to help make that shift and change from the lower vibrational Earth to the higher vibrational Earth. And a lot of the star seeds and twin flames are going to end up being the leaders of the new Earth because they're old souls that have already learned a lot of the lessons, have already grown spiritually and have advanced with spiritual ascension. So they're the ones that are going to be kind of leading, when we get to the point where we no longer have government and we have like earth councils, I mean, spiritual councils kind of controlling planet in different parts. They'll be controlling that. They'll be in parts of the of that shift and in the leadership roles in different parts of the earth. So I feel like the twin flames have been strategically placed by the divine in different parts of the planet to basically anchor in that higher vibrational energy in that wherever they're at in the planet together, that's going to anchor it in that space and help to make that shift. So it's very important. But a lot of times, what happens is when twin flames meet each other, they go into there's this intense like connection, intense energetic pull because, they're together, like they're attracted to each other because of that energetic connection that they have. And basically and a lot of times the twins don't know they're twins. You know what I mean? Like, you're really attracted to this person, this is as hypothetically, but you don't know why, you don't know why you're so attracted to this person, and that person is so much like you. It's like they're just you in another form, you're so much alike, and it really kinda triggers you. But the point is, a lot of times when twins meet each other, there's that strong energetic pull. But basically, that connection that when you meet your twin on the planet, it is to help you, basically start your ascension journey. So basically it's like meeting them in that energetic connection helps the process of going into ascension, helps the process of raising your vibration. So it's kind of like it's getting you started. It's like it triggers you, I guess is the way to put it. Triggers you on that process just to a spiritual awakening and ascension because you have to in order to come back together later in physical union, you have to be able to work through a lot of stuff energetically before you're ready to come back. So when you meet them, there's that trigger and it gets you started on your journey, right? Gets you started on that process. And so you a lot of times like you'll maybe I don't know how everyone's situation is different with twins, and you basically you mirror each other too. So it's kind of like you're a lot of times you'll be friends or there's this intense connection, and for whatever reason, and a lot of times it's because the connection is so intense and the energy is so intense and you're not ready for it. Like you haven't done your eternal work on yourself to be ready to accept and handle the energy of that other person, of your twin counterpart. So that puts you into a lot of times it's kind of like magnets, you repel each other because you're not ready to be together yet in the physical world. So then it puts you into separation. So the twin flame separation is different for everybody because every couple's journey is different. And some people, they might be in separation for just a few months or a few years. Some people could be a decade. So it just depends on what they have to work through and to get to the point where they're able to come together healed. So each twin has to heal themselves individually. So basically, the feminine can't heal the masculine for him. He has to do it himself, and vice versa. The masculine can't heal the feminine. She has to do it herself. So they both have to separate and go through this process of healing and dark night of the soul and, growing in vibration and frequency and ascension and awakening. So it's a whole process that they have to go through before they can come back together. And it's kind of, they push each other. Like I said, if you're not ready to be together, you're going to push apart. But you also, in order to heal, each twin has to work and release things. So, work on it could be individual karma, it could be generational karma, because a lot of the ones, the star seeds, the high vibrational beings that are here on the earth right now, the twins, they are carrying trauma and karma from past generations. And so it's up to us at this time to basically release that, to release that those patterns, to release that trauma from previous generations. To So it's not just you're working on, it's like your whole lineage you're working on. And I know this is true because I've had ancestors show up, they're on the other side and tell me, it's basically they're basically like, it all depends on you. Like, you're the one in our lineage that's going to clear everything, and it's all on you to basically take that. And I'm like, "Ooh, that's a lot of pressure." Okay, I hope I can do it. So that's basically, it's not just yourself, it's your family lineage, right? Generational. But also you're fighting against old beliefs and old patterns in old programming. That's another thing the twins are trying to heal from. Because you think about it, when we're going into this higher vibrational earth, this 5D earth, a lot of our old belief systems aren't going to be relevant anymore because we have grown past them at that point. We're not going to need those beliefs anymore. We're not going to need that programming, those patterns are just going to hold us back from our ascension process. So the twins have to basically in themselves with, individually, because they're in separation mode right now. So they're working on themselves, each other, separate. And even if they don't have, they're still connected energetically, even if they're not talking to each other, right? And there's no contact, but they're spending this time working on patterns and working on programming and releasing those things and releasing beliefs and the old 3D programming stuff that we've been indoctrinated with on our time on the earth. We have to release all that because none of that's going to be relevant moving forward. And all it's doing is basically holding us back from our ascension and awakening process. So they have to heal through all this. And that's why, like I said, it could take years, multiple years to go through this process, depending on how much they have to work on and how much they have to heal and everything that they have to go through because everyone's going to be different as far as how deep the healing has to be for them. So they have to go through this process. And basically it's you have to balance the divine masculine and feminine within yourself before you can come into union with your twin. Because like if you're not ready, if you're not balanced and healed, then if you get back up with that person, you're just going to repel each other again because you're not ready yet for that level of relationship. So, because the twin flame relationship is like nothing that we've ever experienced on earth, it is so high vibrational and so, how can I say it? The connection is so deep energetically that it's nothing like we've experienced with, other people on the planet that we've had in our, we might have had relationships with. And so it's so intense of a relationship that you have to be ready because it's such a high level of intensity and vibration and frequency between the two and energy between them that you have to be ready to come in, ready for that level, right? So you have to heal all that stuff so you're ready for that level because if you don't heal it, like I said, you're going to repel each other. You're not going to be ready for that level. So there's a lot of healing involved. And that's why I was saying, like in the beginning of the video, that, this whole notion of it being rainbows and butterflies is just nonsense. I mean, that's not it at all. It's a lot of hard work. And it takes a lot, it can take a long time. I mean, it's a lot of hard work that the twins have to go through. But when they come together, it's so powerful, and the energy, is so powerful. So I think, with us over the next couple years, with us getting closer and closer to that, making that shift. Well, we're in the process of making the shift, but going into that higher vibrational earth, I think you're going to see more twin couples come together because they need to be, together to help anchor those energies in as we transition into that higher dimensional world. And I feel like there's a lot of people that think they're twin flames, but they're not. Um, and that's what I'm saying, it can be confusing. So you think like it could be, "Oh, this is my twin," or "I have a twin flame," but really it's like a deep, intense soulmate. And soulmates are people that, you can have soulmates that are family members, friends, and soulmates can come and go in your life. Oftentimes they're come to be a part of your life, but they're different than twin flames. They're not quite the same thing. And so, it can be very confusing. But for twin flames, one thing I can tell you is you start to have the energetic connection that you have becomes like a telepathic connection. So you start to have like visions of your twin, or and you start to have even if you're in separation, you're not talking to them, you can start to have like interaction. So the best way I can describe it, the interaction, and this is like an interaction in a higher dimension, okay? And energetic, it's an energetic connection, right? So you're communicating, and it's like I'm talking to you right now, but you're in a higher dimension, and it's very much real and happening in real time. And when I think about if you think about the Star Wars movies, the last couple ones where Kylo Ren and Rey had this kind of energetic connection through the Force, where they would be in two separate locations, but they would connect through the Force, and they were talking to each other, and they could actually interact with each other, even like touch each other, like grab a necklace or something. And even though they're not there together physically, they had that energetic connection through the Force. Well, that's probably the best way I can describe it from my experience. Is it's kind of like exactly like that. So when I saw those movies, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what it's like." And it's really quite unique and crazy because you have that connection. And there's telepathy involved, like communicating with each other through that energetic, ability. And you'll know. So basically, I guess my best advice is if you think you're a twin flame, you'll know it. Like, you'll figure it out as time goes on, if you really are twins with this person or not. And a lot of times, of course, they're having the same experiences that you're having. And, because they're also having that energetic connection, the Kylo Ren Rey interactions and stuff like that going on. And, it's quite unique, and it's kind of, very memorable experiences, and it's like something you've never experienced before. So you'll start, I'm sure as time goes on, you'll know if you are or not. And basically there's like the chemistry is really intense between twins too. And of course, it's also about unconditional love. And that's another thing about twins is it's teaching you twin flames, that journey teaches you about unconditional love and learning to like forgive other people, and um learn about what unconditional love really is, and to experience that, because on earth in our 3D world, unconditional love, really doesn't exist, when you think about it, because we live in a lower vibrational place right now. And so it's very hard to experience that. And a lot of times, the messages we get for, relationships and partnerships between people and couples is based on we're following a lot of old programming beliefs and patterns that we've been indoctrinated with. Like, this is how a relationship should be, and this is how, and there's a lot of distorted masculine energy on the planet that isn't associated with unconditional love. And the same thing with the females or the feminine. There's a lot of distorted feminine energy as well. And a lot of that is part of that is because we don't really know what unconditional love is, a lot of us, and we haven't experienced it. But also, we've got these notions that we were raised with about what couples, relationships should be like, or what a man should be like, or a feminine, a female, woman should be like. And so, we have to release all of that in order for, the twins have to release all that in order to come together. But it's really, even though there's a strong energetic connection between them, it's really the base of the connection between them. The very basic, most important part of it is the unconditional love. And that's what, brings them together. That's what holds them together. But they have to basically go through all that work to be able to handle that unconditional love because it's so powerful. So, the connection's powerful, but at the base of it is the unconditional love that's bringing them together. But they have to go through all that eternal work before they can actually come together in physical union. And so everyone's different when they come in together in physical union. There's no timing, everything's divine timing basically. So it's just whenever it's whenever they're ready, whenever they've done the work, whenever they've gone through everything they need to go through, they've learned and released these patterns, programming, and beliefs, and they've done all that work, then they come together. But for every twin flame couple, that's going to be different because everybody's different about what their missions are and what they have to go through, and their individual work. So it's all divine timing. It's not worth being stressed about it. It's just it happens in divine timing when the timing's right, and you just have to trust that. One thing I want to end with this video. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot about the 144,000, and I'll get into them too. But let me just touch on this real quick with the twins. Is that twin flames are really what divine marriage is, because remember I said the base of it is unconditional love. So that's basically divine marriage. Now, I know, a lot of people like earth marriage, the concept of marriage that we have on earth, that we know and we're familiar with, is a man made concept. And I know a lot of people, like in religions, they believe that, it's like, oh, it's divine, it's a divine of God is divinely putting these people together, everything. But the concept, I'm talking about the concept of marriage that we're familiar with is basically a man-made concept. But twin flames are different because it's their base is the unconditional love. So it's the divine concept of marriage, if that makes sense. So it's different. And that's why, like a lot of twins, they'll meet their other twin and be married to somebody else. And that's because earth marriage is not there's not there's not that energetic connection like there is with twins, and earth marriage is a man-made concept that has been developed over hundreds of years for various reasons, but it's different than the divine version of the twin flames in that marriage. So it's different. It's different. So that's why a lot of times they're in those situations because they're in earth marriage, which is different than the divine twin flame marriage, which is, energetic and unconditional love. I hope that makes sense. I know it can get confusing. So I just want to add about the 144,000, and then I'll end this video. But the 144,000 is, and for a long time I didn't understand what that meant. Like, I know I've seen it many times in the Bible and reading about it. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what it is. And it's not a number of people, it's a frequency. And let me explain. So the chosen ones, the ones of high vibration, the ones that, the star seeds, the twin flames, the light workers, the high vibrational people that are here on this earth to help the earth ascend and have come to, and they're higher level vibration and they're old souls, right? Well, basically, we have 12 strands of DNA in us. And so we don't use 12 strands right now. We're using like 2, 3. And the reason why is because the other The other strands we didn't have access to yet, but that's changing. So as the Earth ascends, as we get these solar flares coming in, they've been hitting the Earth really big time hard lately. And as the Earth really rises in vibration, we're going to come more and more our DNA that we don't have access to right now, we're going to have access to. So at some point in the ascension process, we are going to be activated all 12 strands of DNA. It's like right now we have like two, maybe three. We're going to be up to 12. So when we get to 12 strands of DNA activated, we are going to be we're going to be like superheroes basically, because we're going to have all these abilities and things that we don't have access to right now. So that's coming, and it's like those strands of DNA are slowly coming online as we get higher and higher in vibration. So you know how and so 12, strands of DNA plus, 12 dimensions, right? Because as we go up in dimension, those strands will come online more and more till we get to the 12th strand, and then there's 12 dimensions. And so 12 times 12 is 144,000. So it's kind of like a frequency. It basically it's a frequency and not a number of people. And so what's interesting about that is a lot of scientists talk about, they say, junk DNA. There's no such thing. The divine does not make junk DNA. It's just DNA that is not online yet. It hasn't been turned on yet. And that's going to change right now. So right now that's changing and these DNA is coming online, but this is just DNA that's not activated yet. But it's there and it's definitely not junk. It has a purpose. And same with black matter. A lot of times they talk about, black matter, dark matter in space is just dark matter, but it's really not. It's the problem is that we are too low vibrate. It's high vibrational energy, which dark matter is in space. It's high vibrational energy that our 3D technology cannot perceive, and neither can we because we're too low vibration to see it. But it's high vibrational energy. It's not like just void. It's definitely energy there, but we just can't see it. So I just want to throw that in because just to go back to the junk DNA comment. So that's what 144,000 is. So I think that's really fascinating. And I believe when they're talking about it, they're talking about the people that have that potential or who in the future are going to have all those strands activated. And they're the ones that are going to be what they're talking about in those verses. They're the ones that are going to be leading the new earth, the 5D earth. They're going to be the ones they're going to be doing all this great work or this very divine work, high level work, because all those strands are activated. So I hope that answers that question. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope you enjoyed today's video and it was a learning experience. But thank you for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe, because if you like the video, then that means that it'll shoot it out to more people that need to hear this information. And if you subscribe, then you will get future videos. So just want to give you a heads up that I will be starting this Sunday coming up, which is the last Sunday in April. I don't know the date right off the top of my head, but I will be doing a weekly tarot reading starting that Sunday, the last Sunday in April. And then, of course, I'll be coming up with the monthly May tarot reading, and I will be doing an astrological update again for May. So those are all going to be coming up soon. So I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.